teaching elementary music, we go through a lot of stuff in a year. We go through a lot of concepts, we go through a lot of songs, we do a lot of activities, especially considering how many grade levels you teach at a time. But every year there's a few that just like really stand out. So today I wanted to talk through some of the things that my students just absolutely loved this year that really stood out. Some of them will be things I've mentioned before, and some of them will not be things I've mentioned before, because it just depends, you know, some things are new, some things are not, and just different grades will get obsessed with different things. And yeah, so let's talk about a couple of different things that my students have just like absolutely loved this year in no particular order. Number one is a song that we loved this year. I've never actually used it before, but it's called Kaeru no Utaga, or I've also heard it called Kaeru no Gasu. Kaeru no Utaga is the first line of the song, so I think people call that the name, but I think technically the name is Kaeru no Gasu. Apologies for pronunciation, apologies for, you know, just not knowing. So this is a Japanese song about frogs, and it's really simple, so you could do it with the little kids, but I actually did this with the 4th graders because you can do it as a round, and we spent a lot of time working on rounds this year. So this song goes, and there's little actions, so we do Kaeru no Utaga Kikoete kuru yo Gwa, 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 gwa Jero, 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 gwa, gwa, gwa. It's really simple, but the actions make it a little more fun. And yes, the 4th graders loved it. We did this song so many times. And so we started with just, you know, doing the actions, doing the song, and then we turned it into a round, and they loved it. They loved it so much that one of my kids came up to me during lunch duty and said, "Miss Davis, I figured out how to do the frog song on my violin." And I was like, "Oh, really?" She said, "Yeah, it was easy. I just used my scale," because it is stepwise. So this would be a great one to teach on xylophones, to teach on any, you know, melodic element. And it's super, super fun. I made a whole lesson pack that I'll link down below if you want to like get slides and visuals and all that, and there's like an orf arrangement in there, and you can use it for half note, you can use it for, I think fa is the melodic concept I use for that one, but double check, don't count me on that. And yeah, you can use it again with the little kids because it's cute and it's simple, but it's also fun with the older kids because you can do it as a round, which is really fun. And then the actions make the round a lot easier. I love having actions with my rounds because it just makes it easier for them to stay on track. Number 2 is, we're going from 4th grade down to kindergarten. Kindergarten loved the caterpillar poem. This is a random poem that I have found that I've seen caterpillar chant, caterpillar poem. I can't find any attribution to it, so if you know who wrote it, let me know, but most of them just say anonymous or like folk. So this is just a really simple poem. We did a whole unit on insects this year because I went from having 30 minutes of kindergarten to 45 minutes of kindergarten, and I just really had to figure out what to do. So we did a lot of insect stuff, and they loved this poem. I added little actions to it. So the actions I added go: a caterpillar crawled to the top of a tree. "I think I'll take a nap," said he. So under a leaf he began to creep. He spun a cocoon and fell asleep. For a long time he slept in that bed till spring came along and said, wake up, sleepy head." Out of the leaf he did cry, "Look, I am a butterfly." So we did this one at the beginning of the year with our insect unit, and we, you know, I had to show everybody how to make the butterfly. So hands, flip, cross, thumbs. And it was so funny because for the entire year, I'm talking like last week of school, I would have kids in the hallway randomly be like, "Miss Davis, Miss Davis." Like it was like our secret like gang sign or something. It was so funny. But it was, you know, a kindergarten line would walk past me and 4 of them are like, It was hilarious. So they loved it so much, we actually ended up performing it for their kindergarten graduation ceremony, because they knew it so well and they did it from memory, and it was great. It was just really cute. So they have loved that one. It's just a little finger play, really easy, and you can add it on to anything if you're doing a garden song, a flower song, an insect song, like you can add it into so many different things. So it's just a good one to fill a little bit of time in there. Number 3 is from my second graders. My second graders were obsessed with the Solfege parade game this year. I don't have it with me, so I'll insert a video up here or photos or whatever. But the parade game is basically creating your own little parade float. So they take turns pulling a card out of the bucket, and then they take that card and add it to their parade. And then the idea is that they sing the whole parade as like in a row. And then you have other cards that make you put cards away or make you rearrange your cards to like make a different composition essentially. So they get a lot of practice of singing different solfege patterns, and it's so much fun. So we did this. I have a Thanksgiving version and we did a Halloween version. There's also like a normal just parade game, but they were like obsessed on a level that we have not hit previous years, because some kids just like it just hits better with them, and this really hit with them. So they loved it. We used it to work on solfege this year, and it was a great time. Number 4 is another song also with my fourth graders. My fourth graders are really good singers, so we did a lot of songs, and one of the ones they loved is Star Festival. Now this one I have used every year since I first started teaching, and I love it. I have used it forever, but this year we used it in extra ways. So for example, we did like a whole xylophone situation with it. Like we did extra stuff with it, which was really fun. So this song, we do this one. It's also a Japanese song, but we sing this one in English. You can do it in Japanese, that's fine. But it goes, in the sky the stars twinkle bright, bamboo rustling in the night, glittering sparks of silver and gold, high above us we behold. So we do this one at the beginning of the year to work on ostinatos. So I have a couple different ostinati that we learned, and we do them with rhythm sticks first, and then we put them onto different instruments. So we had one on xylophones, one on triangles, and one on, I don't remember if we did drums or rhythm sticks or something else for the other one, but we did it as like a whole situation, and they loved it. Fourth grade in our county does outer space stuff, so I like to do a whole outer space unit with them with this one, and we do composition based on outer space things and different things. The other thing that they loved that we did this year was a composition project based on constellations, and this was so much fun. This was a new one for me, but basically they had to either find or make up a constellation, and they would draw like the stars, and then each star had one measure of rhythm. So they had to compose however many measures of rhythm in the correct time signature. And this was so much fun because number 1, we worked on meters, so I'm figuring out who's understanding time signatures. 2, it was a really good way to let them like be extra creative. I haven't done a ton of like crafty things in my classroom. I'm usually pretty like straight to the point, but it was so fun. Some of these kids got like super creative with it, coming up with their own constellations and adding all sorts of stuff in the background. Like they were so into it, and it was really impressive to me. And then I had each of them had to perform their composition for their classmates as well. So this was a really fun activity. I will link Star Festival and the composition activity down below in the comments, in the description. All right, I have 3 more. So the next one is a card game called Rhythm War. If you are not familiar with the game War, it is a card game that people play, and it's called War. Many of my students had already played it, which is why I named the game Rhythm War. But basically in the card game, you have like regular decks of cards, and you flip over your top one, and whoever has the higher card takes them. you put them on the bottom, and then you keep flipping till eventually one person will have all the cards. So we do the same thing, but with rhythm. And this really helped us with beats and how many beats each rhythm got and all that kind of stuff for 4th and 5th grade. So what we did is everyone would get 10 cards usually. They flip over the top one. Whoever in the group has the most number of beats would get everything in the middle. They put that at the bottom of their stack. You're not looking at your cards, they're like in a stack. And then eventually we would say whoever had the most at the end, because usually we do this in center so we wouldn't get to the end, but they loved it. I left it as sub plans a couple of times. We used it in centers, and they just thought it was so much fun, and it really, really, really helped us to figure out how many beats each different rhythm got. Especially because there would be multiple things on the same card. So it might have, 2 half notes and a quarter note. Okay, that's 5 beats versus 2 eighth notes. That's going to be 1 beat. And so like you have to figure out all those things. So this was really good for them to get a hold of like how many beats each of the different rhythms were getting. And it was just a really fun time. They loved this game. So I will link that down below. I also have a dynamics version and a pitch version with like treble or bass clef. So like how high or low it is. So different options there, but that was a good one. Next up is one I definitely featured in this same video last year, which I can link that video down below as well. But this game, the obsession my 5th graders had with this game. It is called Pass the Beat. And Pass the Beat Around the Room. I found it on YouTube, like some random YouTube video that I found that we have loved. So what you do is we usually start with the phrase pass the beat around the room. You stand in a circle and everyone takes a turn saying one of those words. So pass the beat around the room, and then there's a rest to make it 8 beats. Pass the beat around the room. Pass the beat, and you keep going. If you hesitate or if you mess up, then you're out. We start with pass the beat around the room, and then we switch it up. I usually do pizza toppings, so they'll do like pizza, cheese, pepperoni, cheese, pizza, cheese, pepperoni, cheese, pizza, cheese, pepperoni, cheese, until somebody messes it up. This year I leveled it up by adding a metronome, which helped so much for keeping us on beat. And then you can do different speeds of the metronome to make it harder. And they were so into it. It was so much fun to watch because they would like dance as they were doing it. So they're over the like pizza, cheese, pepperoni, cheese. And you only get one word. So it's like pizza, cheese. And so it was a good time for me to watch them, but they loved it. At the end of the year when I was like, okay, what would you like to play one more time before you go to middle school? That was the one that they wanted to play. The other one they wanted to play before they went back to middle school was the next one, which is not a shocker to anyone, and that is Pass the Pumpkin. I get requests for this song in March and April, even though it's definitely Halloweeny, but it's a hit with literally everybody. So this one goes, pass the pumpkin all around. Listen to that spooky sound. Ooh, ooh, will it stop on you? Boom. And this is a passing game. It's like hot potato that we play in October, and they are still asking me about it in May. So if you want a hit, that's a hit. It's so much fun. We do it with a lot of grade levels. I'll do it with literally everybody. I have no qualms with that. Sometimes we just pass a pumpkin around, and if you get caught, then you're out. Sometimes I'll do where if you get caught, then you have to like little pumpkin cards that have different rhythms on them. You pull out the pumpkin and then you have to put it in the right time signature, or or you have to read the rhythm on the pumpkin. Like I've done different options for it, but you can also just play the game. We've also done like orf arrangements with it. We do a lot because everybody loves it. So I want to pull it back out every year, and it's a good time. And yes, the 5th graders asking for it in May. I literally was like, write on this index card what you would like to do before you leave me. And I had like 3 people that asked for that one, and a bunch of people that asked for Pass the Beat Around the Room. I was like, I guess we're just gonna pass everything. One last one for the upper grades, specifically 5th grade, because I saved this one for them, and that is Joshua Fought the Battle of Jericho. This song, first of all, the song is super fun, but yeah, it's a good time. We do this and I teach them 2 verses, and so on the first verse they tap on their legs, and then on the second verse they clap. So it's like, Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. You can talk about your men of Gideon, you can talk about your men of Saul, but there's none like good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. I think that's how it goes. Apologies if I mess up some of that syncopation. We do this one to work on syncopa, or that syncopated rhythm. But what we do is something I got from Miss Wonderly Makes Music, and I think she got it from someone else. So apologies, I'm not sure who this originated with. But we sit in a circle and we have a game of Jenga in the middle. So like the tower blocks. And we have one Jenga block that we pass around the circle, and whoever it ends on at the end of the first verse, the chorus, I guess, at the end of the chorus, that person puts it on the top of the tower, and they have to pull another block out to then pass. Ideally in the time of the second verse. You always get it that fast, but that's like the idea. It is so much fun. They love it. I save it for end of the year 5th grade because it is such a good time and it's all they want to play for the rest of the year. It's so much fun. I also do this one at church with my children's church kids, and they also love it. So highly recommend. They love Jenga. Jenga's a good time. Most of them know how to play it, which makes it easier, and it's just a fun thing to do. Now, because they love it, I do usually save it for like a solid chunk of time. This is not like a 5-minute game, this is like a 30-minute game, and you might want to record yourself singing the song so that you can play it, or have a recording of the song so that you don't have to keep singing it over and over and over, because it will get exhausting. But it's such a good time. So I will link links for whatever I have. I don't have a link for that, but I'll link you to at least to the song. I'll leave links to whatever I can link down below in the description, and I will also link last year's version of this video. There are some repeats, but most of it's different because I can't help myself and I want to do different things every year. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get notified, and the bell button so you get notified when there's all sorts of new videos, because we need music ideas, right? And these are all a hit, so you're going to want to use them. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.